Hello, once again, this is RoboJ. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be getting back into the OSC Pilot Touch Screen Control Surface application with Ableton Live. This is a touchscreen controller that was developed by the DJ musician Deadmau5. He uses it for his live shows, and he just made it available for the public to use. So I've been using it, making some templates, and I made a big one, which you can see right here. Big old one, and I got asked if I could show how I made this template and how I mapped all the stuff. And so it's a huge thing, so I've been taking it in little sections. First section was this part, the master section, where you have the master volume, the stop and play button. Second part of the video was about this part here, which is a drum effects pad. And for this part of the video, we're going to be getting into this section, which is like a keyboard pad. And I've been making the template from scratch again, kind of show you how I did it. Now, as you can see, we got this set up, and I've kind of made some changes. I added a crossfader to the drum pad, which you can see how that works right here, where it crossfades between the dry and the wet. I also have control for the plate reverb and the chamber reverb for the drums too. But our focus today is going to be on creating the keyboard pad for one of the keyboards on here. It's going to be this one here, this tin flute one. So let's get into it right away. Now, first thing I want to do is make sure that the MIDI settings are correct. MIDI at device, RJM OSC MIDI. I have the program Loop MIDI, which is a communicator between Ableton Live and OSC. As you can see, it's already set up here. And just to make sure, go to Ableton Preferences, and you go to it should already go to the MIDI link. As you can see, I have OSC MIDI set up for track and remote, which is what I want. Great. So now let's get into actually making this thing. Now to do this, I'm going to stretch this out a bit. We're going to use the buttons here. And you see we have a little set of buttons. You can actually control how many you have in there. For this, we're just going to use the old 4x4. I'm going to set that right here. I'm going to have some room there for the volume control. Okay, I'm going to make this orange, just like my last one. Okay, now buttons are interesting is that unlike the buttons here, where you just press them like this, these buttons can work like a keyboard, which you can designate when you map the MIDI to them. So and now for the keyboard stuff, now with these parameters, I have them all on like channel 16, CC2. Now, as I was saying in my first video with this, I'm actually going to map the first 4 channels of the MIDI to these instruments here so I can play them. And for channel 1, it's actually going to be this one, channel 2 is going to be this one, and then channel 3 will be the one we're going to do right here. So I'm going to do that right now. MIDI channel, I'm going to type in 3. I'm going to type in the CC for 1, which will designate that it moves one CC up. Now for MIDI note, if you weren't aware, they designate MIDI notes in numerical value for musical notes. So middle C on MIDI notes here is going to be 61. If you didn't know that already, middle C, at least for Ableton, is the MIDI note for middle C is 61. And we're going to go to Ableton. Now for this one here, you see down here we have MIDI from, and you have different selections. Now, I'm going to choose RJM OSC MIDI to be the MIDI from because that's where this is coming out of. It's going out of RJM OSC MIDI into this. And I'm going to choose the channel I selected for that, which is 3, which is important because say if I have this instrument, it's going to be on the same RJM OSC MIDI setup. If I have it set to channel 3 as well, and I try to play this one on its own, the keyboard for this will play as well because they're on the same channel, but I don't want that. So this is going to be channel 1, 2, 3, so that I can control them individually. So let's test it out, and to test that, we make sure that this track is armed. You go down here, the red button, and then we come to OSC, go to performance mode. There we go. I have the delay set up on there too, which works. But look at that, we got this playing. But there's something here. Now, for these loops I have set up for this music, it's mostly in C major, the key of C major. But as you can see, it's chromatic. I don't want to... I have a bunch of flat notes here, flat and sharp notes that I don't need, or I shouldn't play in a C major, because that will, that won't make it sound good. So we have to change that. And here's a little trick that I've kind of created for myself and you can use as well. Now I'm going to go to text here, and I'm actually going to write out. Actually, here, I'm going to set this up immediately because last time, there we go. Okay. Now I'm going to set this up here, and I'm going to name this text C. There we go. I'm going to move it right here. You can kind of see what I'm doing. I'm actually going to create little text so that I have notes where I can actually see what I'm playing. You don't have to do this, but it's definitely helpful. So let me do that, and there we go. Get C, D, E. Got F. There. Remember, on a piano, C and F are right next to each other. As you can see, there's a sizing issue, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. Okay, we got G. There we go. Actually, I'm going to start. There we go. Perfect. Okay, I'm going to duplicate that a couple more times. Let's get these out. Okay, we're going to make this one A. This one B flat, and I'll show you why in a minute. And then we're going to name this one C, and then finally D. Now, with the B flat, although it's in a C major, I do want to kind of have a flat seventh in there. Kind of give it a cool kind of sound. So I'm going to put that there and that right here. So there we go. Look at this. Now I'm going to send these all to the back because I don't want to press on the text. I want to press on the notes that they're signifying. So I'm going to send all of these here to the back. See, they kind of get a little darker in shade, but that's only because they're behind that. So now it'll look like this. Now watch. Oops. Oh, look at this. We still can hear the flat and sharp notes that I don't want to use. Now, to fix that, I'll show you another trick I've been doing, where you can actually put a single button over the pad. I'll show you how I did that. I'm going to make that, let's make it purple. I'm going to duplicate this a bunch of times. I'm going to put it right over. You see what I'm doing here is I'm putting these buttons over the notes that I don't want to play. Okay. And in fact, why don't we make these ones toggle? What toggle means is that if you press on the button, it stays lit up. If you have toggle off, the button will just blink when you touch it and we'll go back to there. But you'll see what I mean when I go to it. So now watch this. See, now the buttons are covering the bad notes, the quote bad notes. So now you can do that. The cool thing about this too is that you can map these buttons to something if you wanted to. Maybe you can map it to a settings for this particular keyboard if you wanted to like change it around, or you can just leave it there for visual reasons, which is what I'm doing here. I'm not going to map these. I'm just going to leave them there just as guides. Very cool. Next thing we'll do is make the master volume control. I'm going to go right here. Actually, that's perfect. I'm going to make this one green. Okay, and next I'm going to make two knobs. I'm going to make knobs not for the aux effects, because I'm fine with them being that kind of the reverb sound. What I am going to do is I'm going to make these effects. I'll tell you what, I want to make it like that color. Make another one, and then make that one maybe a little more pink. Is that we're going to make these for the filter and the resonator for this piano effect, this flute kind of sound. So I'm going to put these right here. Okay. There we go. Looking good. Let's see how they look visually. Not too bad. Okay, now we're going to take some text and get it there, duplicate it, change the color. I think I had it like, it was like a different kind of red there, I think. Maybe that was the wrong red. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Let's change it to this one. Okay. So I'm going to change this text here to filter and change this one to res. You don't have to make it like this. You don't have to label them if you can remember what they are, but it's helpful to label them. Just, have it set there. I'm going to make these 20 actually, make them smaller. Not 250, 20. Okay, we'll put them right here and right here. There we go. I wish I could remember what color that one was. I think is that one? I don't know. There it is. There we go. So we have a filter text and a res text. So you can have it designated there. Let's map them now. Okay, so we're going to map this, and this. Now, if you remember our MIDI mapping, the last we have was channel 16. We left off at CC9 on the effects pad, so we're going to continue that. We're going to make the volume, why don't we call this flute volume. The naming really doesn't matter. I've noticed it doesn't really help. I just like to do that just to keep myself good. So we're going to make that 10. We're going to make flute filter knob, and then we're going to make that channel 16 CC11, and then we're going to make flute res knob. And we're going to make that, you guessed it, channel 16 MIDI CC12. So now we have 10, 11, 12. Okay, looks good to me. Now let's map them up on Ableton. Let's waste no time, because time is passing. Okay, we're going to come here to Ableton. I'm going to go to MIDI mapping mode, Control M, or this button. And I'm going to highlight the volume for this tin flute, which is the which is the sound for this. I'm going to highlight the volume. I'm going to come here to OSC to performance mode and give it a little touch. And then you'll notice now it says 16/9. And if you go to your MIDI mappings list, you'll see now it's CC7, CC8, CC9, track volume. And if you remember, you want to make the mix max amount 0, not 6. So when the top of this reaches here, it will reach 0 on Ableton, which is what I want. Okay, next I'm going to map the filter for this effect. Now if I go to tin flute track, you'll see I have a filter here. I'm going to click on the frequency and just click on the slider for this filter here. You see it says 16/10. Click on the resonator knob and then click this one. You'll see now it says right here 16/10, 16/11. If we get out of MIDI mapping mode and go back to that effect, now you'll notice, if you notice the filter now is moving. It's exactly what we want. So and then the res is moving too. All right. Let's test it out. Let's see. I'm going to use both hands for this. Good. There's the resonator. Perfect. Wonderful. Let's hear it together with the drums. Beautiful. It works. Yay. Yay for us. All right. Well, that does it for this third part of the video. And for the next part of the video, we're going to get into the big section. We're going to get into this monster keyboard section here. So stay tuned for that. and I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. And if you really liked it and you want to stay tuned for more stuff on my channel, definitely subscribe. I just started this channel. I've been on YouTube for a while, mostly as a audience member. I haven't made too many videos, but I'm starting to get into the idea of creating some content. Now I have some cool stuff to create it with. So yeah, I'll be making some more stuff. We'll be continuing work on this template until we reach the end. But I hope you liked this video, and I hope you like the setup here. If you wanted to actually try this stuff out, if you have a touchscreen computer and you would like to try this with a DAW, it is available to download for either a free trial or you can buy it, and it's cheap right now. It's like, I think it's still $50. So I put the link to download the OSC pilot in my description, along with the download links for the loop MIDI or RTP MIDI communication setup that you'll need to communicate this with your DAW program. So I'll have all that links in there. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. It's Labor Day when I'm filming this, so I hope you're all spending your Labor Day really safely, because I know we're still in the middle of a pandemic, but you know. All right, I hope you enjoyed this. I'll see you guys next time when we do the next challenge of this massive template. Take care, everyone. Bye.